Hi, and welcome to Old English Outfitters YouTube channel. I'm Alan. So the last time that we shot a video, we did it on the Glock G44 22 long rifle. And one of the things we mentioned was that 22s were kind of popular this year for new additions. Well, Ruger has joined that with the LCPII in 22 long rifle. And we got a few of these in. We thought it'd be a nice little follow-on to the Glock to take a look at it. It's a fundamentally different pistol than the Glock. Just different all the way around. The LCP light carry pistol has been around for a long time. Ruger started that line with the LCP, and they made some product improvements to it over the years, and then they came out with the LCPII, which is basically this format right here. This is empty and safe, by the way. I'm going to close the slide. So the LCPII has started life with Ruger in 380 ACP. And it's not a bad little gun. I've shot both the LCP and the LCPII. They're pretty good. The LCPII was a product improvement over the original. The original would not lock open on the empty slide. This one will. They changed the sculpting a little bit. They widened the back strap. They sharpened the sights up just a little. They're still plain black, but they've got just a little nicer profile to them than the original guns did. They put some front cocking serrations on it. A couple little things like that. Shot several of the 380s. They're nice guns. They work pretty good. They're typically pretty accurate for no bigger than they are and no more sights than they have. Make a handy little carry pistol, especially in the summertime or if you're dressed down and you don't want something heavy, because even loaded, these things aren't very heavy. So the LCPII and 22 long rifle, this one, uses exactly those same sorts of features and profile that the 380 ACP version does, but with a few small changes. Now, I mentioned that this is fundamentally different than a Glock 44. The Glock is a striker-fired pistol, and it's a full-size pistol. As we talked, same size as a Glock 19. This is not a full-sized. It's pretty much a subcompact pistol, same physical size as the 380 version of the LCP2, but it's not striker-fired. It's hammer-fired. It actually has a hammer that stays inside. That hammer starts when you load the pistol, you charge the chamber. That hammer starts in a full cock position. So you end up with a fairly short trigger pull. To keep it safe, if you're not using a manual safety, the 380 versions don't have a manual safety. This one does. We'll show you here momentarily. But to keep it safe, so you don't accidentally pull the trigger, you got a trigger safety piece there. So that prevents that trigger from moving unless the whole thing's pulled. Another departure from the 380 version of this has a magazine safety or a magazine disconnect. So if the magazine is not in it, it will not fire even if the chamber is charged. Another departure, it has a manual safety right here. And this safety is a little different. It moves back and forth. Make sure we're charged there. It moves back and forth like that. It doesn't move up and down like normal thumb safeties. You think of them, you sweep them down. Some rare cases you push them up. This one, to engage it, you push it back, covers the red flash, so now it's on safe. It's not a bad spot for a right-handed shooter because you can push it forward really easily. If you're a left-handed shooter, not going to be real convenient. You'd probably operate it without using that manual safety, I suppose, if you're a left-handed shooter, to be most efficient. Because otherwise you got to shift all the way over or back up. Or any way you do it, you're going to lose your firing grip. The magazine on the 22 long rifle version holds 10 rounds. You will notice that it doesn't have any sorts of tabs to pull down or anything like that. Just loads through the top, okay? But Ruger does give you a magazine loader with the gun that you can slide over the top to push it down, give you leverage to load the round. So that's helpful. Loader's got a little tab right there, so if you were unloading rounds, you could use that to push them out of the magazine, nice and convenient without buggering up your thumb. So it's nice that they give you that. The other thing this comes with package-wise, same as the other LCP series guns, you get a pocket holster. Not an expensive setup, just a simple nylon pocket holster, but it's a nice touch. Covers the trigger guard, sets the gun up right in your pocket. If you're carrying in a pocket, use a holster. Keeps crud out of the gun, keeps the gun from turning sideways in your holster or in your pocket. Holster will keep it setting up right, so it's a good idea. So you get those things with the gun. So that's nice. So we shot this a little bit, and Ruger, in their instructions on this, will tell you high velocity ammunition only. So that's what we did. We took 3 different kinds out. We took some Remington Golden bullets, we took some Federal Auto Match, and we took some CCI Mini Mags. No surprise, the CCI Mini Mags probably worked the best in terms of flawless reliability. The Auto Match, we had 2 rounds that refused to shoot no matter what we did. We put them in the gun like 4 or 5 times just to make sure that their primer was, we were hitting the primer good. Couldn't get them to fire either one. So definitely bad rounds, not the fault of the gun. Couple little hiccups early, couple little failures to feed, things like that. We ran a couple of magazines through it rapidly, and it was smoothing out nicely. So we weren't really having any problems in terms of functioning of the gun. We had 1 CCI early on that had a light primer hit, put it back in, worked fine. So as with a lot of things, break it in a little bit if you buy one, especially if you're going to use it for self-defense. Rim fires, what have we said before? It's all about the ammunition. If you're going to use this thing for serious business, use the best 22 ammunition, probably CCI Mini Mags. The other stuff, it's going to work, but got to be reliable. If you're carrying it for defense, it could be a lot of things. Got to be reliable. Use the best quality ammo you can find. The sights are black, which makes them a little hard to see when you're up on a black piece of steel on a nice overcast Ohio day like we had this morning. But they're pretty well regulated. Shifting to the backstop and shooting at just some small things down there, they're able to hit them okay. So they're well regulated. If you got just black sights like this, get some nail polish or get some luminescent paint or whatever sort of other kind of paint you like and paint them, especially if you just painted the front, give you a little more visibility. Realistically, this is a fun little plinker. We had a lot of fun shooting it out back. It's fun. It's a fun plinker. Wouldn't be a bad defense choice if you were limited to this caliber. The sights are less of an issue there because, as we've talked many times, you're going to be pretty close quarters anyway, right? 10 feet or less, most likely. But you're certainly capable if you got to go out to 20 feet or so to get hits. Color your sights maybe so you can pick them up a little better. The controls on this thing are the slide release or slide lock and the safety. They're placed for use, and the magazine release. They're placed for a right-handed shooter. Left-handed shooter, you're going to have to work your way around it. It's just the way it is with this particular gun. Mentioned that it has the magazine safety, so that's something to keep in mind. The regular 380 LCPs do not have that. They will fire with a round out. This will not. Disassembly for these is pretty simple. It's exactly like the other LCPII or LCP series. Obviously, the first thing you do is make sure it's empty and safe. Never, one more time, never disassemble, handle, screw with these things if you got bullets in them. That's how people shoot themselves and shoot other people. Don't do that, okay? To take this apart, you got to take that little pin out. Got a little small flat screwdriver, pretty easy to do. Just get it in there and pop that pin up like that. It'll pull right out. Small part. Don't lose it. Put it somewhere where you can find it. Once that pin's out, the slide's going to come right off the frame. The recoil spring and guide will come out. Not captured. Got a little tension. It's a 22, so it doesn't have a lot, but hang on to it so it doesn't launch. Barrel comes out, there you go. Same exact profile that you have with any of the other 380 LCP models. If you get it apart, you look right there, there's the hammer. Now, sometimes with hammer-fired guns, we mentioned, make sure you don't pull the trigger when you got the gun apart, because the hammer will fly forward. There's nothing to stop it. You might overstress some parts. You don't really have much of a concern here because when the magazine's not in it, you can't pull the trigger anyway, okay, because of the magazine disconnect. So that's an advantage to it in this position. But to put it back together, you put the barrel back in, put the recoil spring guide back in, make sure it goes into the little recess in the bottom of the barrel locking lug. Slide the frame back on, and then just put that pin back in. There's a little piece of wire right there. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera. It's not a big deal. Just push it down, push the pin straight back in, and we're back in business. So it's a pretty simple takedown. The only real gripe that I might have is be that small pin. Make sure you don't lose it. Recap. Not a bad plinker. Kind of fun. Little. Recoil. Hardly any at all. Doesn't cycle too hard. It's a 22, so you don't have a lot of... So it really doesn't cycle too hard at all. It's basically a straight blowback. I don't know if you can see on the top of the barrel hood right there. See how that's sloped? So it's not like a 380 where it's got a lock and tilt. It just pretty much just gives it a place to go over the top of the barrel. The barrel doesn't drop till about right there, and that's just a finish facilitating the round reaching extractor. Fun plinker. Defense piece, I'd break it in, make sure that it works well, and use the very best ammunition you can use. And probably not a bad defense piece if you're limited to just a 22. Price, $309.99. Not bad. Right in the same range as the other LCP 380 series guns. And you can sometimes find these things on sale too. So it is a new product. We've got a few of these in. So if you want to take a look at one and handle it, try it out. Come pay us a visit. Once again, it comes with Ruger's just cardboard box and instructions. And of course the pocket holster and the magazine loader. So they give you everything you need to run the gun right up front. Extra magazines, I think, are about $30 or in that vicinity, so they're not cheap. And I don't know that we have any just yet, but we'll be getting them. So if you're interested in this, come pay us a visit. See what you think. You can always compare it to some of the other stuff we have too. But for a small little 22, not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, well, that's all we got for today. I'm Alan for Old English Outfitters. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.